Welcome back. April kicks off Financial Literacy Month, but one local entrepreneur says it should be called Financial Wellness Month instead.
That's right. Here to explain, Staci LaToison joining us to tell us all about financial wellness and how we can all strive to get more fit in that realm. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's very exciting to be here. I am a local Houstonian, and I worked for 22 years in corporate for Chevron around the globe, managing global teams and multi-billion-dollar projects. But, every single day of our lives, we have to make a financial decision, and yet we're so unprepared because we're not educated, we don't talk about it in school, we don't talk about it at home, and so it's just extremely important for us that, we can change that. We can actually take control of our financial destinies and do something about it. So
and you went on a mission to spread that message, didn't you?
Absolutely.
With the podcast and what else?
Yes, so I started the Her Money Moves podcast. It is a groundbreaking women's financial empowerment podcast, and it's an engine for equity because anybody can go on YouTube and watch for free, or on Spotify, or on Apple, and learn from women who have sold their business for $1 billion.
Yes.
I mean, the women on the podcast are powerhouses who have accomplished so much, and they give tips and strategies of how you can do this. They sit on boards of Fortune 100 companies. They have managed $150 billion in assets. I mean, it's like, these are things that, wow, we don't hear about, we don't know about these women, but instead of paying $1,000 or hundreds of dollars to attend a conference and hear from these speakers, you actually can listen to it and watch it at any time and learn some great strategies of how you can improve your own financial wellness.
Yes. Okay, so Staci, let's talk about how we can begin to strive for our financial wellness.
Well, right now is a great time, right? Everybody's got to do their taxes. It's due April 15th, so, and it's usually a time that is a bit, like, it gives people anxiety, because we don't know our numbers and we're uncomfortable about it. But the thing is, we can't wait only once a year to look at how we're performing and what we're doing with our money. Like, we need to have check-ins every single month, with your partner, with your kids, and, really, talk about it, make sure that you have a budget, first of all, that you know what's coming in, that you have, know the difference between your assets, like your home, and liabilities, like your car or those credit card bills. And, it's like we're the biggest consumers, especially women, right? I mean, we make those financial decisions in our home of what are we going to spend. And we spend trillions of dollars, but we don't own enough. We're consumers, but not owners. And so it's like, really evaluating what are you spending your money on and making some financial goals for yourself. Maybe this year that you want to take that trip to Europe, or you want to buy a home, or you want to make some investments. You've got to write it down, put it out there, and make sure that you're tracking it and seeing and reaching those goals.
And speaking of the goals, so when we're trying to reach financial wellness, maybe it's not about having a certain dollar amount in the bank or reaching millionaire status. Define wellness and what that really looks like. To me, it's like the ability to sleep at night knowing that I've taken care of. But how do you define wellness?
I do, financial freedom.
Yeah.
A lot of us have, there's the psychology of wealth, and when you talk about money, for some people, it does give you anxiety or it's stressful, but it shouldn't have to be. It is a tool to achieve things in your life. But if you can sit back and say, okay, I put money into that 529 plan for my kids, $100 every month, and started young, so that by the time they graduate, I've got $100,000 saved up because it's compounded interest, over time. And so you can sleep good at night knowing that I don't have to go take out some insane loan. My kids don't have to have student loans and be burdened with that because I, made that smart financial decision.
And those are the kinds of steps that lead you toward generational wealth, right?
Absolutely.
Making those decisions. And if you haven't been able to, it's teaching your kids to be able to pass it on.
Yes, and even at our corporate jobs, we have certain benefits, and there's no longer that person you can just talk to and really, help you to understand all the benefits. Now it's like an 800 number you have to call. But really understand, okay, do they have stock options? What are they doing a company match on your IRA? And if so, make sure that you are at least at the minimum matching that amount, because that is free money that can help compound over time, so that whenever you do retire, because guess what? We don't want to work until we die.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have to, because they don't, they didn't start early. But it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
That's the thing, it's never too late to start. You can start today. I hope all the Houstonians start today after watching this show, and understand that you can transform your life, your children's lives, just by educating yourself and into financial wellness.
What do you say to maybe families that are watching that might say, oh, I just have too much, like I've got too much debt here, I don't think I can even get to that point? Is it baby steps? Is it just starting with the budget, tackling the debt? What are some methods that you would say?
Oh, absolutely. The first place that you do want to tackle are those which they're called unsecured debt, and that is those high interest rate loans. And yes, take baby steps. Maybe this month you have to make some sacrifices and rearrange some things so that you can pay those off. And then it's like a weight off your shoulders, that you're not like trying to climb out of this debt, this hole. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, you can have a lot of fun, Also make sure you reward yourself. Make sure that you also, have some self-care, because we're all, working so hard.
So much.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And the thing about women too, okay, and I'm a huge proponent and advocate for gender equity. And we have a even larger mountain to climb because of the gender pay gap. Because, you may have heard, for every dollar that a white male makes, Latinas make just 55 cents. So it's going to take even longer. And women, we live longer, at least an average of 5 years. So when we're saving for retirement, we have to think about that too, so that money doesn't run out. We're going to live a little bit longer. And then also, a lot of women just kind of rely on their husbands when it comes to the investment decisions. But if he passes away and then you're just suddenly stuck and you don't know where was all the money, what to do. And so it's just really important. And there's divorces too, life events. I mean, anything can happen in life, but it's important for all of us to understand and know your numbers, because as I said, every single day of our lives, we have to make a financial decision.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
Super important too, that communication, isn't it? So that everybody's on the same page. I mean, but I also understand that not everyone's comfortable with money. So if you're in that situation where, maybe one person in the relationship's comfortable, the other one's not, try to bridge that gap a little bit. How do we do that?
Yes. Okay. So we need to normalize money talks. Yeah. Have that conversation. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. And that's why a lot of marriages end in divorce too, because they don't talk about things, and you're not on the same page, and you have to make sure that you're aligned in your financial goals.
And real quick before we go,
yes.
Are you an advocate for, let's pretend we're married, do we put everything into one checking account, or are you comfortable with couples splitting up and keeping them separate? What's your take on that?
Oh my gosh. All right. So that is totally up to each relationship there. I'm a single mom of two, and so I haven't had to share an account with anyone, so I don't know that I would.
It's like a personal choice, right.
Because I've heard both sides, and both schools of thought kind of make sense to me, I guess, depending on the person.
I've heard a grandmother say, okay, put your accounts together and then go get your own account. I don't know, not my grandma.
There's your money and then there's our money.
Right, yes.
Staci, thanks for coming in today and hanging out with us.
Thank you. I mean, I could spend all day. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this, and I think it's just so extremely important. Houstonians, everyone, and in Houston, we are 45% Latino. But, in our businesses, and in women, we're 51% of the population, and yet only 8% of women are Fortune 500 CEOs. there's only 2% of venture capital that go to women-led startups and businesses, and that's a huge reason why I invest intentionally in women-led businesses.
It's needed.
Yes.
All right, Staci, where can people find you really quickly?
Okay, StaciLaToison.com or DreamBigVenturesLLC.com. Also subscribe to the podcast, Her Money Moves podcast, and it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and you know what's really beautiful about it? I amplify these women on this platform, but about 60% of our demographic is women, and the other 40% is men. So I mean, I think it's wonderful to see that the men, they value this podcast just as much as the women do, and we take it all around the country.
All right, Staci, thank you so much
Thank you,
for being
Staci.
here with us
Thank you.
and sharing your wonderful message.